Summer Walker says, Mark, Elevation said you trying to steal my show from me.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Elevation. He's right. He's 99% wrong, but
I don't have it. Go ahead and play the audio. I don't have the audio.
Send it to me, Mark.
I thought I had the audio.
I was simply going about my business yesterday, possessed, a few yards. After I attended to him, I was listening to one of the podcasts when Joe mentioned my name at about 2:37, or 2 hours and 37 minutes. I think, oh snap, and I'm listening to what my name is being spoken for rather than getting excited because this is a major pod drop, shout out, reference, or whatever you want to call it. And Joe replied, Mark, Elevation said you're trying to take my show from me, man. What? Mark was, quote unquote, doing a segue to further illustrate this point. Hi, are you in possession of the audio? Because I have the audio if you don't. I extended the clip's playback for that reason. They said, send me the clip, Mark. Joe was referring to our last conversation when Mark was attempting to introduce a subject, a segment of the program. Hello, I was wondering where your eyes were going, and I've been feeling like I'm a part of the act. I will thus advance the subject myself. I don't require your help. I don't require your assistance. I am aware that it sounds humorous. Hell, it seems like many of you are betraying me once more. He's writing another hate article against Mark, I see. I don't despise Mark, guys. I will be completely honest with you as soon as I hear this. I texted Mark as soon as I heard this. I think, damn, I'm always 99% wrong. In actual life, I get along with Mark. Guys, I am aware that parasocial relationships and things like that might be challenging. Furthermore, it can appear like I despise someone or harbor animosity towards them when I criticize them, especially if I'm going on the attack like I used to Melissa. I just want to be clear about that. However, that doesn't imply that the topic I'm discussing is worthless or unimportant, because I was discussing Flip and the alpha male conflict when Joe last did this. Flip acknowledged it himself, despite his best efforts to deny it. At one point, I was aware that most people find anything Joe says in jest to be a joke, but you all understand how I feel about this. Since this is what Joe really means, I listen to what he has to say. He genuinely wants you to know this. Naturally, everything that is presented to us is false, yet for some reason we take it all in and continue to comment on everything else they say whenever they discuss artists and their arguments. We'll discuss their speaking about that, but nothing is really important. Joe will eventually, or at specific times, begin to focus exclusively on the business side of things and the boss side of things. Personally, I don't want to witness it on television. All I want to see are the changes brought about by a boss's actions. Not himself either. I mean all of them, including him. Since everyone respects the workplace and Joe is always talking about it, I want him to be able to instill something there that everyone follows. So this goes beyond Mark attempting to steal Joe's show. It would be impossible for me to suggest that Mark is taking over the program if he weren't as brilliant and skilled as he is. Because you guys are also criticizing me for encouraging Flip. You all know how often I have flips, stop your ass. Now though, you're arguing that I'm treating Mark the same way. But Joe is referring to precisely what I'm saying. What is the reason for this? He's experiencing it.
He's already aware. But once more, I don't want to witness it take place in public. I want it to take place in the background. And they simply abide by the established regulations. Joe keeps saying this, and we constantly mention white firms, but we should just start mentioning significant companies instead. They don't consider Joe to be a big businessman. Because if they are a conglomerate and they say you can't be on your phone, then you can't even bring your phone into the warehouse. When I worked at UPS, imagine then that you are earning millions of dollars annually, or as they say, $250,000. They advise leaving your phone at your cot in your car. That's what you will do. However, since Joe is their friend, they don't act in that way up here. In one of his interviews, however, Marc said that he and Joe had not been friends, or maybe it was on his Patreon. He was not initially pals with Joe. They established a professional relationship, developed rapport, and are still doing so now. So Marc is free to say whatever he wants. Flip is free to say anything he likes. Whatever I want to say, I can. Ultimately, though, Joe's behavior will reveal his true feelings to us. Speaking of Marc's ability, did anyone watch the Ian and Marc show season finale? And yes, I did mention the Ian and Marc show season finale because in case you haven't watched it, I'll be praising it and discussing its plans. So I will refrain from giving any spoilers for this episode. Go watch the Patreon, everyone. Yes, the first 6 hours of any new episode I upload will be free. Every time I upload a new video to Patreon, it is immediately pushed behind the paywall. You've been warned. I'll talk more about the movements later, but I think it's telling that we've already missed 3 or 4 episodes and that this is the season finale. Since it's not a marital issue, I won't discuss it, and I don't even want to bring up the subject. When Podwives, another sitcom that had taken a very long break, was about to premiere, I informed you all that once Ian and Jules had this baby, Ian would be forced to stay at home by Jules, who was the more dominating one, and Ian wanted to spend that time because, of course, this is his first child. But all of that was ignored. I'm now beginning to understand the financial dynamics at play and the reasons for the price increases. The quote-unquote pool that they were able to demonstrate in this episode, it provided us with the information we needed to see moving ahead. Who else is Ian acquainted with? Because this is the man who can make the connections he does. This individual possesses the ability to acquire many legendary figures, including some of the most revered ones. As a result, this is something we must consider moving forward. As a quick aside, I noticed that Joe Budden Network was the producer, but then I noticed the TT. It's interesting, but please let me know. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the page. If so, you already know how awesome we are here. You already know it. We will continue to move forward with this. Thank you for all the support. I'll see you all later. Calm. And that's where things start to get interesting. Because if Joe Budden is even mentioning Marc Lamont Hill by name, you already know it's not random. Joe's too calculated for that. Every word, every shout out, every so-called slip on his podcast has meaning. And this one got people talking. Some fans think Joe was paying respect, acknowledging that Marc's been building momentum, pulling major guests, and shaking up the conversation. Others say it was a subtle warning, like Joe letting everyone know, I see you, but don't get too comfortable. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. Marc's show has been gaining serious traction lately. Sharper commentary, viral clips, and the kind of balance between intellect and entertainment that a lot of viewers have been craving. It's the same formula Joe built his brand on. And maybe, just maybe, Joe feels that energy creeping up behind him. But here's the twist. This might not even be about competition. Some insiders believe Joe could actually be setting the stage for a collaboration. Imagine the two of them, Joe Budden and Marc Lamont Hill, sitting across from each other in one room. Raw conversation, ego versus intellect, emotion versus logic. That would break the internet overnight. Still, until that happens, fans are going to keep debating what Joe really meant. Was it respect? Was it rivalry? Or was it the start of something much bigger that neither side has fully addressed yet? One thing's for sure, when Joe Budden speaks your name, it's never just talk. It's strategy. So keep your eyes open, because this story, it's just getting started. And as always, drop your thoughts in the comments. Who's really holding the power right now? Joe Budden or Marc Lamont Hill? We'll be watching.